Good morning. Today is May 10th, Tuesday, and I am on NQ. As usual, pre-market, I'm starting on NQ. It is currently 8:19 in the morning, a little after 8:19 when I get my trading session started here. And today was a good day. There was some runs. There were some things to look out for, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So first thing I do, as I've always mentioned, when I get my trading day started, see, I'm starting here, right? So what I do is I look back. What happened? So if I look back on my 10-tick chart right here, look at this nice trend up, right? From this wall here, this area had a nice run up. A couple little pullbacks, a couple little areas, pullback, huge HD right here, 919%. It's where it made a higher high, pulled back, made a higher low than the previous pullback, and 919% more volume. Push it right up to these double mini magnets on top of this wall, also ZOI there. This is a beautiful little stack here, right? So then it pulled back down, pulled back up, and hitting it again. So now I'm immediately thinking, as I'm analyzing this, okay, I want this to break long or break short, like down here, before I'm taking a trade. You know, we've already had this big long run up. So see what happens here. Okay, I'll pull up the simplicity chart to show you, we had that big long run up, and then there's a pullback here. Now, let me show you this. This is a nice little lesson, too, with my LRE trades. Okay, so this pulled back here, right? And we know we get in when it's about 2 points or at the solid line of the previous bar, which would be here. Okay, that's very close, right? Could have gotten in here. Problem is that would be about right in this area on my 10-tick chart. And as you can see, it went down further and actually hit the line and kind of down in this area, about 312, 375, just under it, and then went up. So this is a little lesson that a little trick I do on my LREs. And I say this over and over, I do not use the simplicity chart itself to judge whether I'm getting in or not. I already know what areas, by looking at my 10-tick and my 30-tick chart, where I want to take my trades. So if it gets there, I'll take it. So in this example, an LRE would have been right up in this area, but look right below it. What do we have? We have a ZOI crash, this teal and purple line together. That's a crash. Okay. So if I was trading here and I was waiting for this pullback and it got here and there, it'd be right in this area, I'm not taking that. Because more than likely, that would reverse in the middle of nowhere. So more than likely, it's probably going to come down and hit this ZOI crash. So I would have waited. So I would have got in. And so that's what I mean by I look at the simplicity chart, but live as this is coming down, I'm looking at this 10-tick chart and I'm waiting. I'm not getting in right here. I'm waiting to see if it's going to come down and hit that ZOI crash. And then I'll get in and go up. If it just so happens to actually stop right here in the middle of nowhere and go up and I miss it, well, then I missed the trade. Next. Next trade. Okay. So that's why I say I don't always get in right at the solid line. Sometimes there may be a level, something strong right above it, like within 2 points or so, and I get in there. Or it's further back and I wait and it actually goes down and hits it and I get in there and then I go up. So, and then as you can see, it came down, hit it, laid a cluster right on it. So it means it's still significant. Then it laid a mini magnet right there, right below it, pushed off to go up. So would have got in somewhere around where this cluster is and would have been a winner. I wasn't trading at the time, so I didn't see that one. but just to show you. So, and then now I'm pointing out that, let me get this back up here. I'm pointing out that, as you can see, I'm sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Okay, as you can see, this is a long run up, right? Long run up. So long run up, kind of hesitated here, went up, kind of pulled back, went up, pulled back, went up, pulled back, but never quite pulled back enough for an LRE. So at this point, I'm not going to be looking for too much, right? Because we already had this long run up. Yeah, I could pull back, give you an LRE, but I probably wouldn't want to take too many. I probably would only want to take one, because I'd want it to run up further again first or go back down. So as you can see, it starts getting a little, a little rangy there. So now, it's trying to break long. I would definitely want to wait until it breaks long. I would not want to take another LRE, just in the middle here somewhere, because like I said, we had a long run up. Nice level. This could be the end of it. Could start wanting to make its way down. Now, as I'm showing you here, this is my 30 tick chart. Ran up. There's that level. Pulled back. Left a mini magnet here to push up. And now it's making a higher high on way less volume. Could be getting exhausted. Okay. So I'm looking at that. I'm watching, waiting. Is this thing going to in fact be exhausted, or is it going to continue up? But there's a lot of signals right now telling me this might not go up anymore. But I have to wait and find out. It gives us indicators, ideas of what to expect, and we know that anything can happen in the market. I've seen it many times reach new all-time highs, and you think there's no way it can keep going, and it just keeps going and going. So, trade what you see, not what you think. All right, so now sitting here waiting. At this point, I'm not really looking for a trade. So let me fast forward it a little bit here. It's pulling back. Now we do have some HD kind of forming here. Well, a little bit, but it's still kind of like in this little range zone. So let's go ahead and fast forward it a little. Doing a little. Okay. So this is pulling down. And still waiting. See what the market's going to do. Okay. Let me bring this back. This is, sorry. Okay, this is I pull up the simplicity chart here again to show you. Yes, we had this pullback back here. Kind of did a little choppy, ran up, acted like it was going to break out. Now it's coming back down. Now you technically have another LRE. So if you took this LRE, right, entry would be about where we are. So, but look at it. Okay, if this is your entry, what, if anything, is telling you that price is going to stop right here and go back up and get 5 points? Just because this is saying, hey, we're back to the solid line, let's go ahead and get in and go up? No. We want to look at the total picture. We struggled to break up here. Made a higher high right here by a little bit, 74%. On the 30 tick, we had ODD where it was exhausted, right? Coming down. This could be the start of a downtrend. It's coming back down, pulled up a little bit, coming down lower. We don't know for sure, right? We don't know, but with my money management, and I say this over and over again, I look for only the best possible trades that I can find. So I would not take this because more than likely, when I'm watching this live, I'm thinking, okay, why would this stop right here? I don't have any reason to believe this could stop right here. If anything, I would think it would come down to here, these mini magnets. Right? I mean, it is a little bit choppy. Maybe it could chop and go up. But why do I want to take that chance? Okay. So let's see what happens. But I already have my mind made up. I'm not taking it. Look. ODD, 25%. Higher high, 25% of the volume. As it got to this spot, this level that broke, a wall on top of, a mini magnet, this white line on top of a wall is so strong. Especially it's on the 30 tick as well. And it's a double mini magnet on the 10 tick. When it tried to break it, it couldn't. And it came back down and laid a cluster right on top of that level. That means there's a battle happening right there on that level. Look at the 10 tick. Clusters. There's a battle. Right? Why do I feel like right now it's going to go up? It can, because we all know it has to either go up or down. But I want the best setups. Okay, so I would be expecting this to come down at least to this ZOI, which is 379. Right here, which that's where this mini magnet is. That's where I would be thinking that it would want to probably come down and test. If anything, somewhere in this zone. So that's what I would be thinking. I don't, doesn't mean it's going to, but that's what I'm expecting. Okay, so that would be a losing LRE if that were in fact to happen. So let's see what happens here. I'm still waiting, still watching. So it did pop up. You would have got the winner if you accidentally took it. I mean, it is a LRE, so that could be a lane 2 LRE. Which we know, just if you know nothing about nothing and you only took the LRE at that entry that you're supposed to be, you're probably going to win some trades. You're going to win quite a few trades, but you're also going to get some losses. So this one would have won, but I would not have taken it for all those reasons I said. All right, so now, as I mentioned, at this point, I'm waiting for this market to move somewhere and break out somewhere for me. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and fast. As you can see, it took me, my trading session today took me about an hour. And I did take a trade. And we'll be getting to it soon. But some days it takes me 20 minutes. Some days it takes me an hour. Take what the market gives you. Okay, so now, here we go. It looks like, see, Simplicity flipped. They were both green, right? Now they both flipped red here. At this point, I'm waiting for a short to run down or for it to flip back to green, break out above this 398 level and run up and then pull back. So let's see what happens. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Okay, it's breaking down. Look at this. Wow, amazing. Right to that mini magnet. Okay. It did bounce enough to give us that win if you took that, but right down to that mini magnet. Let's see where it goes from here. Okay. Chopping around a little bit, trying to make up its mind. Again, this is NQ. Okay, now if you look here, we're starting to form a little chop block. We got 1, 2, we're on a third bar now, right? Look left. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars of chop. Look left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars of chop. This area right here between 397 and this bottom here, about 385 or so, what do we have? Chop. Likes to chop. What did it do before? Gave a fake out, ran up, came back down, fake out, came back down. Over here, it went up a little bit, came back down, chopped, came back up, tapped the deviation level, came back down, couldn't make it. Now here we go again. It's trying to do it again. If it breaks out, it might run this time. or it might get rejected. So this area, I'm going to be very careful because looking left, that's typically what it liked to do is fake out, couldn't break, couldn't make it further, and then come down. So that's key to remember, because if it does start trending up and it pulls back for an LRE, it might not work out. So that's why I want it to run further first. If it goes long. So let's see what happens. Okay, there's a breakout long. Remember what level I said I wanted it to break? Let's go back. I wanted it to break this 397 level, right? Break that, and then what happens? Sometimes it goes and fakes and comes back down. But I first want it to break that and then see what it does from there. That's my 50 tick. This black one, this is my 50 tick, by the way. Okay, so here we go. It's breaking. It broke that 395. Now let's see if it actually runs up this time. Okay, here we go. It's trying. There's no simplicity entry yet. It's pulling all the way back down. See, it's struggling again. Okay. We have massive amount of HD buildup. Broke out, pulled down. 400%. This very well could run up, or it could come right back in the zone and chop around. We're waiting. Okay, here we go. Let's see what it does. Okay, it's making its way back up again. All right. There we go. Now it's breaking. Okay, remember it tapped the deviation level once, which is this line right here. So here we go. It's getting back up to the deviation again. There it goes. It breaks it. Hasn't quite fully broken it yet, but it breaks it. I like a full bar or two to close above it to consider it a nice clean break. And there we go. Now it's breaking. Now it's running. Now there's a simplicity long. Kind of. Not really, because this one's pointed up and this is pointed sideways. That's up, that's sideways. So there's still not technically a simplicity long yet. See, now they're both angling up. Now they're definitely angling up. And then it broke the high. So these two were angling up. It broke the high, this bar. Now there's technically a simplicity long. Let's see if it can run. Now, my personal rule is if this is the long up here and this pulls back way down here, I don't like taking an LRE behind the original simplicity entry unless there's just something really pretty that tells me it's going to bounce. So I typically like for this after the entry for it to run up, quite a bit. That way I could take a pullback that's not behind the entry. Okay. So fast forward a little bit. Okay. Now it's trying to pull back. So this gap level here is a pretty strong level. We already bounced off of it once. It's got a ZOI on top of it. If I got an entry there, that might be something to consider, especially if it's like an HD or something really nice coming off of that. So I was kind of watching that just to see if it pulls back to it and if it gives me an entry there. It did not. So as you can see, our line here, it's splitting. That means it could chop. It's not agreeing right now. So it could start to chop. Now, here we go. I pull my chart back down because just in case if I'm ready to take a trade. Now you see off of this deviation level, we had what's called an SLZ. We're pulled back, had a low volume score star, low volume score of 5, and laid a ZOI right on top of it. Beautiful setup right here with HD. That's a beautiful setup to take long. Beautiful. I would have loved for an LRE to be right here as well. Ooh, that would have been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful one. Unfortunately, my LRE entry was way down here. So, and I only trade LREs. So, here we go. Now it's pulled back right here to the solid line off that deviation that I was mentioning. The gap wall with the ZOI has slight ODD on it. Okay. So, I did not take this trade, and I'll show you why. Okay. Here, it pulled back to on the gap level, right? And then it stayed up here, hovered over this deviation. Now it broke down and it's hitting this wall. And if I took the trade, I'd be in here. And I would have to make it, because there's some clusters here, and I'd have to come back through this deviation, which was this, support here for a minute. It's just too tight of a trade for me. And when it goes sideways like this for a while, I really don't like it very much. I like a nice clean trend pullback, get in and go. This ran up, kind of chopped around a little bit, and then the entry came to me. We didn't pull back to the entry, if that makes sense. So I don't really like those except for in certain scenarios where, like, if that would have happened here where the entry came to me, okay, good. If that would have happened here where the entry came to me, where that setup was that I said, beautiful. I'm taking it because there's a strong setup here. Okay, so did not take it, and then sure enough, it's trying to break down. Don't know if it'll break down, but look how, entry would have been up here. Entry would have been about right up. Well, right here, our entry, it didn't quite pull back to the entry here. And then if I waited to this bar, it's already flipping red on me. And it's just, I don't love it. I just don't love it. So kind of hard to explain a little bit, but it's just not clean to me. And you can see it's pulling down. So now here we go. I'm waiting for a short. Are we going to go short, or is this just a reset and then go back long? So now it's a waiting game again. It's pulling back up. Kind of doing a little choppy now. Range chop. Doesn't know what to do. All right, look at that. My eye zones are stacked on top of each other, which is the red shaded, green shaded areas. The light color is older. The darker it gets, the newer, and it's laying on top of each other. Right now, it's just a mess, and I'm waiting for a breakout. Here we go. It's breaking long. Now I'm waiting for a simplicity entry. Both lines are angling up. If this bar closes like this and the next bar breaks the high, we'll have a simplicity long. If this bar breaks this high, we have a long. No long yet. Still no long. Just waiting. Almost there. Almost there. So close. Look at that. Needs to break it. And there it goes. You got a long. Now I'm waiting for it to run and give me my pullback. Trend bias turned green down here again. So here we go. It's running. And as I'm watching this 10 tick right here, I'm looking at levels, right? So like I want this to come up. I would like, an LRE off the wall or this gap level somewhere because we're in a nice trend. So I'm looking for a pullback to something and take it. Okay. Let's fast forward. See, we have pulling back. Now we have the gap level, ice level, cluster ZOI, Paul here. So this is a pretty significant area. Okay. Let's fast forward a little bit. Okay, it's going higher now. Perfect. So now as it's pulled up higher, I'm looking at this area down here. Either the top of this or this area down here. It's where I really want an LRE. Because see, I was looking for one back here. It didn't happen. Okay, you can see. So now if it pulls back, it's going to pull back to this wall. Which, what's in front of the wall? We got a mini magnet right here. So it's beautiful. I'm looking for this area to pull back to. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm measuring out where's my LRE. Okay, my LRE would be right here on top of this mini magnet. So I'm thinking, okay, that's good. I would like that. That's where I would want an LRE anyways. And let me show you one little small risk here, though, of taking this off the mini magnet. You have the wall. So if I take it off the mini magnet, I can expect that maybe it'll hit the wall. And if you look left, this is a bottom here, this little one, before it took off. So it very well could come down into this area. So if I got up here, my stop will be big enough to make it through. I'm going to fast forward it. Then it keeps running up. Okay. Now, still going. Okay, it's making a higher high. I like that. Now, it's making a higher high. Now my pullback, I'm looking at, maybe this wall, maybe this area now, this mini magnet wall. Same thing. If this comes down right now and I take it off this wall, you got this little bit to the left, these double mini magnets clusters. See, it already kind of tested that there, that it might pull back a little further than the wall. And if it does pull back a little further than the wall, it might want to come get this mini magnet. So it's a little bit of a risk there. Okay. So now it's pulling back. Now I'm looking at this pullback and I'm saying, wow, look at all this buildup. 756%. It's not HD because this right here made a lower low than to the left, but it's still massive buildup where if I could take something off this wall, I would like it. Like I said, it's a little dangerous because it might not stop at the wall because it came down here. And then you got the magnet and stuff in wall below, but then you got all this mess to the left that could stop it right in this area and then bounce up. So that's what I'm looking for there. Now we're at 800%. Okay. Now we're reaching that point, 900, almost 1,000%. I hop in. And it hits the wall. This one didn't go straight to profit. Look, it got up, it got close. So what I do is I mentioned, As soon as I'm in a trade, I grab my stop and I hover 1 tick in front of my entry. That way, if this ends up getting a couple ticks, 15, my target is 20 ticks. If this gets between 15 to 20 ticks, I'm ready to drop my stop down because I don't want this to get 18, 19 ticks and then come back down and lose. So after this crosses about 15, 16 ticks, I drop my stop 1 tick in front of my entry. And if it comes down and knocks me out, so be it. I'll get my next trade. Because worst thing I want is to be up 16, 17, 18 ticks, and it comes down and becomes a loser. I don't want that. So that's what I do. Now, in this case, you'll see it come up, right? And then it gets close. Let me play it. It gets close to my stop because, like I said, look, my stops are right behind with this wick. And I thought it could go to that wick or come down to this magnet. 1 tick away from my stop. And I'm like, ooh, not very good. So I'm ready to break even pretty soon on this trade. Okay. And then this is what changed it for me. This starts coming up. I'm like, ooh, I might, as soon as I get into profit or even, I might break it even. But then this bar starts forming a mini magnet here. I immediately think, okay, I'm not moving my stop because if this bar closes up and leaves a mini magnet on this wall, that's an indicator this might push up just enough to get me my profit. So I'm not moving my stop. If this gets around 18, 19 ticks, then I'll put my stop to 1 tick in front of my entry. So if this bar closes up and leaves that mini magnet, that gave me confidence that we're going to go. So I'm sitting here waiting like, please close up bar and leave this mini magnet here because I really want that mini magnet. There's that mini magnet on top of the wall. Now I'm confident this thing's going to shoot up or shoot up to my profit. So waiting. And see, it got right to my target, bounced down a little bit, and I was getting ready to drop my stop right here, Oh, actually, I did move it to break even. See, because it got 1 tick there, dropped it at break even, and let it go from there, and it hit my target. So there it goes. That was my winner on the day. As you can see, it was already getting close to the dark zone. It was 9:10 Eastern time already. Here's the simplicity chart. I wanted to get in more so on the wall here. Didn't quite get filled where I wanted to, but that's okay. And yeah, so it was almost close to dark zone. It was about my hour. I only trade for 1 hour, so it was about my time. Last thing you want to do is at the very last second take a loss and lose your profit. So that was it. I was done for the day. This thing runs up. I gave it a little more time to see if I get anything else, but I didn't. And that's it. All right. Hope you all have a great day and see you tomorrow.